one's asking why. The world keeps spinning, no one seems to care. Lost in the noise, a silent prayer. Does anyone out there even hear the cry? I'm just a voice in the wind, but I'll keep on screaming, 'cause someone's missing. I won't stop dreaming.
Hi, guys. Thanks for joining. I have Fox here with me today. As you see, my avatar here is Kaylene Oehling. That's what I'm going to cover today. I know I usually do the missing, but this is very important. This is a case that reminds me very much of Timmy D's. This is a father, a mother who is struggling for justice. I think it's almost been 5 years now. Um, this is horrible. That it actually he has done nothing but beg and beg. He's been on TV. He's went out of his way, really, just to beg for anyone to listen, just like Barb. So I have Arctic up here with me because he has covered Kayleen. So I'm gonna play Arctic's video. Oh, Arctic, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
just
thank you for allowing me to come up. I mean, I feel so bad for Jason because he
I
fought for
know.
so long, and then we're going to cover some stuff that's happened in the course of Kayleen's disappearance and murder, and the
It's
stuff this man has been through. I mean, my heart just breaks.
Me too. And when I saw that, I have this little Facebook deal where I'd share all my missing there, and I keep seeing him on there, and I was like, what is this about? And then I come across the story, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is like Barb. This is Barb. Really, this is her
It is. It's
screaming.
it's very very similar to Barb's case because there should have already been an arrest made in
Oh
this
my
case,
God,
and
yes. It's obvious who did it. I mean, and the guy's showing off. The fact that he's just so cocky and showing off to the dad. I mean,
exactly.
that
Yeah.
shit right there. Oh, but all right, I'll go ahead and get this started. I know you have a premiere, so I'll try not to go into that. But there's just so
Oh,
much.
you're fine. I will push mine back. This is far more important than my premiere. So
It's just so. It reminds me of Timmy so much and how nobody listens. And we have to, as a community, make noise. We have to be loud. We have to help these families because obviously, without help, they'll never be heard. And that's so unfortunate. So let me go ahead and see if I can bring this up. Yep. All right. We'll start out with Arctics.
Hello, True Crime family. This is Arctic Fox, True Crime. Today I'm bringing you the case of Kaylene Oehling out of Allegheny, Pennsylvania. Now, Kaylene was supposed to meet her ex boyfriend to get some items back from him. On the night of the 9th of January 2020, she left a friend's house in Millville, Pennsylvania, to meet with her ex, Michael Mano. A few hours later, at around 1:30 a.m. on January the 10th, Kaylene did make contact with her mother from Etna, Pennsylvania, and this was the last time that Kaylene was heard from. She was reported missing later that day when she didn't show up to babysit as scheduled. Now, at the time of her disappearance, Kaylene was last seen wearing a black hoodie and camouflage pants. She wears glasses and takes daily medication that she is without, and therefore she may be in need of medical attention. Kaylene has not been active on any of her social media sites, which is very out of character for her. And the last time her cell phone was used was the night that she disappeared. Now, it's not confirmed, but Kaylene may have been 2 to 3 months pregnant when she went missing, making her estimated date of delivery end of May, first part of June of 2020. A $25,000 reward is being offered in the case. And if you have any information on the whereabouts of Kaylene, they're asking that you call the Allegheny County Homicide Unit at 412 473 3000. Kaylene is 21 years old with brown hair and brown eyes. She is 5'1" and weighs 110 pounds. Now, this case, all these cases take on a lot of meaning for me. They're all very important to me. But when I have the opportunity to actually sit and talk with the parents of the missing person, it it really pulls at my heartstrings that much more. I've had the opportunity to talk with Kaylene's dad, and he is a man on a mission. He is very distraught over his daughter's disappearance. You know, she's been gone since January of 2020, and we're in March of 2022. And this man has not given up hope that his daughter's coming home. He posts on social media on the regular about his little girl. And when I saw him in one of the missing persons groups talking about how his daughter's case needs attention, I reached out to him and I said, well, hey, I mean, I've got a small channel. It's not very big, but I would be happy to help you kind of focus some light on your daughter's case. And so I've talked to him a little bit and gotten a little bit of information from him. I've also looked at a couple of the missing persons flyers for Kaylene. Now, this cat that she was supposed to be meeting, her ex-boyfriend, is significantly older than her. This dude, this ex-boyfriend of hers, was born in 1974. So he is old enough to be Kaylene's daddy, if not older. Um, I believe he actually is older than what Kaylene's father is, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, so that is kind of worrisome too. And the fact that she might have been pregnant when she went missing, that's definitely of concern. Uh, but yeah, I've got another poster that I'm looking at right now. So she was last seen with Michael D. Mano. Now, his date of birth is the 6th of October, 1974. So that tells you something right there. Um, Now, he, at the time that Kaylene went missing, was driving a black older Chevy pickup truck with the license plate KWF 2807 and may have been heading to Jefferson Street in Pennsylvania, in Penn Hills, Pennsylvania. The fact that he was so much older than her, you know, we see it all the time. There's a lot of grooming that takes place with these older gentlemen and these younger ladies. It's it's not always the best outcome, but that's what we're praying for here. We're praying that Kaylene is all right, that she, you know, if she was pregnant, that the baby's all right. You know, I want Jason to have the opportunity to not only be reunited with his daughter, but, you know, to spend time with his grandson or granddaughter, whatever the case may be. So it's important that we get Kaylene's face out there and we get the story out there. Um, Again, this Michael Mano dude does not sound like a real winning character. Um, you know, obviously, he can't be too big of a winner if he has to go find someone over half, under half his age. You know, but again, the last time, at the time that Kaylene went missing, this Michael dude was driving a black older Chevy pickup truck with the license plate KWF 2807. And that would have been in the area of Penn Hills, Pennsylvania. If you have any information on this case, you can call the Allegheny County detectives at 412-473-3000. But yeah, let's help bring this little girl home to her daddy, because her daddy's missing her something terrible. Um, she lived in New Wilmington, is where she lived at, and she lived with Jason and her stepmother in the, I guess it was, and in Etna, Pennsylvania, with her mother. So they had shared custody, or well, obviously she's an adult, but she was going back and forth between her father and her mother's home. Again, she was last heard from on the 10th of January in the Etna, Pennsylvania area after meeting up with her ex-boyfriend, Michael Mano. Now, Kaylene, again, has brown hair, brown eyes. She wears black framed plastic glasses. She's 5'1", 110 pounds. She was born the 6th of August, 1999, and was last seen wearing camouflage pants, a green blouse, a black hoodie with a white headband, and white tennis shoes, and her fingernails were painted black. And she may wear a black ring on her finger. There's currently a $25,000 reward being offered in the case. Um, the most important thing is that Jason wants Kaylene to know how very much her daddy loves and misses her. Um, the police department is absolutely seeking any information on this case, no matter how insignificant you think it may be. If you've seen something or you think you may know something, give them a call. Um, and I'll have all the contact information in the description of this video as well. And there's several numbers that you can call on this case. I've given a couple. Um, you can also contact 1-833-ALL-TIPS. Or you can contact Allegheny County Homicide at 412-473-1200. You can also call 1-800-CALL-FBI, because the FBI unit is assisting in the investigation of this case. So there's a number of places that you can reach out to if you've seen Kaylene or you have any information. And again, I will post all the information in the contact or in the description for this video. But the main thing is let's try to bring this girl home. Her daddy misses her terrible, as you can imagine. After this long, it's heart-wrenching on the family. I mean, put yourself in these parents' shoes. Can you imagine if it was your little girl out there? You hadn't seen her for going on 3 years, 2 years. It's got to be rough. And I deal with these cases day in and day out when doing these videos, and it's heart-wrenching on us creators. I can only imagine. It's only a little drop in the bucket how heart-wrenching it is for us compared to these parents and what they're actually going through. But as always, I do want to thank you guys for watching. If you would, I'd appreciate it so much if you gave this video a like, because it helps the algorithm and helps to get Kaylene's case out there. While you're here, if you'd click that subscribe button, I'd greatly appreciate that. Go ahead and ring that notification bell so that you're always alerted as to when I upload new content. But above all else, most importantly, like always, click that share button. Share this on Facebook. Share it on Twitter. Get it all across social media so that we can get Kaylene's face out there to everyone and help to bring her home. It's more than time to bring her home. She's been gone over 2 years now. As always, I thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Y'all always get these stories out there and help me to get the word out on these kids. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.
Okay,
Oh
so
well,
when he
it's over.
got
I
out,
can come out. I can come
yeah,
out my hidey hole now.
We all start out funny. I go back to my first stuff and I'm like, wow. But so this had a tragic ending. When he put that out, we didn't know. Like none of I'm sure you didn't know. And no one knew at that time if she if she were to be deceased. Well, she was. And this family's been through nothing but hell. Nothing. I
They
mean,
really have.
yeah, like
Yeah,
one thing after another, it doesn't matter. He's begging for anyone's help. Anybody that'll listen. Just like Barb. You know, it's gut wrenching. It's so sad. It's like, what would you do if that were you? What if that was your daughter?
exactly.
Like, what would you
Exactly.
do if that was your child? It's
And Jason, I mean, he would talk to anyone.
yes.
I mean, when I made that video, we had no idea. Kaylee's remains hadn't been found or anything. We still were holding out hope that she would be found alive. And I had just started my channel. I think I'd had it up maybe a couple of months. I didn't even have 500 subscribers, but he sat down and he called me and he let me interview him. He didn't know me from Adam, and
Um,
I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to have sat down and spoke with Jason. He is salt of the earth, and you're right. He really is another Barb. He's never
yeah,
going to stop fighting for justice for his daughter.
I agree. And I respect him for that. I mean, wow. Think about that. It's oh my God. But what I got is I have another video here. Now this is going to be a channel called Locating the Lost. So I stumbled across their video. I was trying to find the best one. So I reached out to them and they gave me permission to use their video to bring awareness. And I think that's amazing too. So I want to give a huge shout out to Locating the Lost. I do have that link. I have it I have it starred, but I think that one. Yep, this one right here. So if you see that in chat, I don't know if I can go back. I put it one of the mods I think has it in Discord. Wisdom, I don't know if you can grab that for me or somebody that had it, but if not, I will go back and get it again. It won't be hard. But please go over there, sub up, watch some of their stuff. They're amazing. Like he interviewed Jason. He did a super job. I was very impressed. So I that's what I told him when I was reaching out. I'm very impressed. Thank you, Arctic. It's like I'm just impressed with how well he interviewed him. It's pretty amazing. But I have to warn you, this stuff is raw. So if you need to step away, please do. I mean, I get it. I do. But it's raw. It is. It ends up getting a little uncomfortable. But if that's uncomfortable for us, how do you think they feel? The parents. So I'm going to go ahead and play this real quick if I can get back over there to it without messing it up. Here we go. Sorry, guys. I'm having a little bit of trouble. Just a second.
3D models of the suspected killer's face.
It's heartbreaking. We miss her, and we're going to find her. We're going to keep looking till we do.
It's like a never-ending nightmare. It doesn't end. It keeps returning and coming back.
On the evening of January 9th, 2020, 20-year-old Kaylene Oehling met with her ex-boyfriend, 45-year-old Mike Manote, to retrieve her grandmother's jewelry. At 1:36 a.m. on January 10th, 2020, Kaylene's mother received a text from Kaylene stating she would be home in the morning, and that is the last anyone has heard or seen from Kaylene. What happened to Kaylene Oehling? Tonight, we're joined by her father, Jason Oehling, who has made it his mission to find justice for his daughter and become an advocate for all missing person cases. So tonight I'm joined by Jason Oehling. He is the father of Kaylene Oehling, who disappeared January 10th, 2020, in Pennsylvania. Kaylene is described as 5'1" and 110 pounds. She was 20 years old at the time of her disappearance. Is that correct, Jason?
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And obviously, it's a difficult subject to talk about for you, I'm sure. I'm a father myself. I've got a 25-year-old, a soon to be 21-year-old, and a 9-year-old. So I can't imagine going through the pain and the loss that you've been going through over the last 2 years.
I tell you what, this last 2 years really changed actually all of us in the family. Myself, my children, my wife, my ex and her family and everything. It's living hell is what it really is.
Now, would you take a moment just describe Kaylene and what kind of daughter and sister she was?
Yes. Kaylene, she was always loving, um, always protective of her younger siblings. Growing up, she was very outspoken. Kaylene was more like a tomboy. She worked on cars and stuff with me. Um, she wasn't too good in school. Books just was not her thing, but she was always a caring, loving person. Um, she was a junior firefighter at my old department. She went to CCD, we're Roman Catholic. She helped out with the bingos and helped out setting up for CCDs after the bingos and everything. And she really loved her younger siblings and always watched them every chance she could get. Kaylene did drop out of school, but she was in the middle of working on getting her GED. And uh, she did take a pregnancy test and did tell us that she was pregnant. But unfortunately, we never got a chance to uh, find out for sure by the doctor because unfortunately, Kaylene went missing prior to that. She lived back and forth to my place and her mom's. I live in New Wilmington, Pennsylvania. Up, a lot of people don't know where that is. That's up near Newcastle. And my ex, Tiffany, she lived in Etna. That's actually where Kaylene went missing. Kaylene didn't drive. She didn't have a car. Um, Kaylene, she also, prior to Kaylene disappearing, she was on food stamps. Um, but throughout that summer before she went missing, Kaylene was going to be moving full time into mine and my wife's place because she wanted to get her GED and go back to like a trade school
Right.
or something. 'Cause like I said, she really wasn't into books. But growing up, she was just a caring, fun loving person. And like I said, unfortunately, until she got up to high school, not unfortunately, but she was a tomboy up until like high school. And then she turned into, of course, teenage girl
That
and
that tends to
everything.
happen, right?
Yeah, him, Kaylee, and Haley, they lived with me a lot of their life and everything. We lived at the time in Westier Township. That's about 20 minutes, 25 minutes north of Pittsburgh. Um, and that's where I was volunteer firefighter. That's where I started being a volunteer firefighter. Where Kaylene was, I was a vice president of the men's club at my Roman Catholic church. And I don't know, Kaylene was just, Kaylene, she could always lighten up a room with her style and everything else.
Yeah, she's a pretty girl. Um, Describe the night that she went missing, January 10th. Is that, I know you suspect it was after midnight, right? So is that January 10th the date, like after midnight?
Yes.
On the
So
9th?
while January 9th leading into the 10th, Kaylene was at her friend's house down the street from her mother's. She was meeting up with her ex-boyfriend Michael Mano to get some of her belongings, and unfortunately she was working around his time to be able to meet up with her since she didn't have a car and everything. So approximately, I guess, 12:30, 1 a.m. on January 10th, Kaylene was meeting up with Michael Mano down the street in Lower Etna, where it has been confirmed by the police. They both met up down in Lower Etna. Both of their phones pinged at the same time, at the same pole. He even admitted to the police on being with Kaylene at that time. And it was around 1:36. Kaylene's phone texted her mother saying that she was going to be back in the morning at 9:30 to watch her younger siblings. And the next morning, Kaylene, she didn't go to her mom's. Her mom called me about 9:45 because she had to work and everything. And we just knew that something was wrong right then and there because Kaylene's not the type to miss out on her siblings.
I was going to ask you that. What was your initial reaction when you get the phone call from your ex-wife? Hey, Kaylene didn't come home this morning to watch the kids. Was she panicked at all?
Yeah, we both actually were, because especially with Kaylene hanging out with Michael Mano to begin with, because I found out about him in November of 2019. And of course, I had a few words to say to him. And of course, he called Penn Hills police on me and everything. And to stay out of handcuffs, I wasn't allowed to contact him anymore. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere near him.
Well, and what was it about him that you didn't care for?
Well, the first thing that caught my attention, of course, is whenever I was told his age. I mean, he's older than me and everything else. And I was told that he has a criminal history. Now, at that time in November, whenever I got his actual name and everything else, I called a sheriff friend of mine and had him do a background for me and everything on him. And whenever I seen his background, and not just his charges, but his convictions of just in the state of Pennsylvania, not including all the other states, it held a very sour taste in my mouth. So,
are you able to tell us what those convictions were for?
yes, not he's been convicted of statutory rape, a lot of burglary and thefts, arson, attempted homicide, stolen gun possessions as a felon, not even allowed to have a firearms in the state of Pennsylvania. A lot of also petty crimes. And at the time, he was on probation and he was also out on bail on other charges.
Unbelievable. I mean, as a father, I can only imagine my reaction. My daughter said, "Hey, I've met this guy. He's how old was he at the time? Like 45 or 47, something like that."
5 at the time,
45.
because he's 47 now.
Yeah, so he's my
I
age.
believe either 46 or 47. But yes, he was 45 at the time.
Unbelievable.
And as soon as I just start hearing a lot about him, I really did not want that to be a relationship at all.
As a father, I completely understand. Now, what did she say about him? How did they meet? Do you know?
I was told that she met through her ex-boyfriend. Um, I can't think of his name at the moment, but it was through her ex-boyfriend. He was friends with Mike Mano and his name was Nathan. I I don't really know his last name, but I do
That's okay.
know it was, and they met through him, and just I guess they did like side jobs and everything for contracting, handyman work.
Right.
It's how they ended up knowing him.
Got it. All right. So that night, the January 9th, she'd gone over to his house to pick up some things that she had left there. I believe it was stuff that her grandmother had given her, jewelry and stuff.
And she didn't go to his house. She actually met him down the street from her mother's house. And it was jewelry that my mother passed away in 2012. It's jewelry that Kaylene inherited off the family and everything else. So it was like very sentimental to Kaylene, jewelry and everything. Um, of course, still to this day, it makes me sick that Kaylene went by herself and didn't at least tell me what was going on. Because, of course, I would have never let her have gone, especially in the middle of the night.
Right. And they had broken up at this point, right? She had broken up with him.
Yes, they broken up in actually December. They only dated for like a month or 2 months. Because he has an older daughter, but at the time he had Mike Jr. And as of now, since last April, he has another child to Sherry. So at the time, his girlfriend also was his live-in girlfriend was pregnant.
So,
But
do you believe that?
according to Kaylene, they broken up, which we found out they never have.
Wow. So, do you believe Kaylene's child, if she was pregnant, was Mike's?
Yes. She did make a statement, and she even, it's on black and white through Messenger, and her telling him and another friend that she was also going to tell Sherry, which is his two kids' mother, that she was pregnant and everything. Um, that, and then also about an hour, 45 minutes prior to Kaylene's disappearance, she also put social media that Mano robbed an ATM in Penn Hills.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yes. So, and of course, my eyes as a parent, and I have criminal history background. To me, there's two hard motives right there. And then also, Sherry, his girlfriend, of course, they've been questioned by the police numerous times. And the last time, I'm going to say probably about, I'm guesstimating on this, but 4 months ago, one of the last times that Sherry was interviewed, she did state to the police that Mano did say to her on the afternoon of January 10th that Mano stated to her that they did not have to worry about Kaylene bothering them ever again.
Wow.
According to the police, the reason why they didn't charge him as of then is because he didn't flat out say he killed Kaylene.
Right. It's a little loophole.
Correct.
So I had read that at one point she told people she had been locked in the garage at his place.
Yes. Now, in think it was the end of October, beginning of November of 2019. Mano padlocked her into his garage, and Kaylene did tell the police that also at the time and everything. And what concerns me is, and it's supposedly was padlocked from the outside. And what concerns me is I found out on one of the first warrants from the original police station, they never even searched the garage during,
Unbelievable.
because they were told by Sherry on the premises, because Mano was in jail at the time. They were told by Sherry that they had a mean dog inside and she didn't want to open the doors.
Right. So why bother
And
looking in there? Unbelievable. Has it been searched since?
the garage, yes. Allegheny County homicide detectives, to my knowledge, have searched the garage, Mano's camp, and other premises that he's been known to go. One of the main places where Allegheny County has gotten multiple warrants for is there is an abandoned cement factory in Penn Hills where they focused 5 to 6 warrants at different times for search on the property and everything else, which that is within minutes from Mano's house. There's there was remains found in October in Penn Hills. It was stated to the police that the remains are not Kaylene. The only thing I can say on that is the remains are not identified as we speak at the moment to public knowledge.
She was expected home that morning. She didn't return home. You get the call. Your ex-wife, she said you had to go to work. So did you instantly drive down there?
No, we did something stupid because we didn't have knowledge of missing persons cases at the time. We waited 48 hours. We were originally told, because Kaylene's age, the age of 20, that we had to wait for 48 hours. Now I'm retired now. I'm a volunteer missing persons advocate for across United States, and I do want to emphasize there is no such thing as having to wait.
Right.
As soon as your loved one is missing, call the authorities. If they even try to tell you that no, you have to wait, insist on talking to a chief. If it's a local, go to a state department then, because by law in the United States, you do not have to wait 48 hours.
Exactly. And so many people have heard that over the years, between TV shows and whatnot, and they just think they have to wait. But if you push, they'll actually open up the report earlier. But thank you for
Yeah.
calling that out. And thank you for, I know we're going to get into that a little bit later, but just everything you've done with the missing persons in US, and how you're trying to get not only your daughter's name out there, but you've also are working on several other cases. But I'm going to go back to your daughter's case real quick. Did you go visit Mike Mano?
No. No. At the time, my Kaylene's mother, Tiffany, was still on speaking terms with him and had called him a couple of times. And he, at the time, was stating to her that Kaylene was fine. He stated that Kaylene didn't want to talk to any of us, that she wanted to start a new life, which we all knew that was inaccurate. We kept pushing the issue and everything else. Um, a while after that, my ex-in-laws and some of their friends would start protesting up at the house and everything. See, the other problem was Kaylene's case was, and this was out of the mouth of the district attorney, Stephen Sapala. This is out of the mouth of his own detective on black and white through an email through me that Aetna did not put Kaylene in the computer system, that she was missing until March 13th, which was 2 months after we reported her missing.
That happens all the time, Jason. It's ridiculous.
Yes. Now, and then, unfortunately, Kaylene's case was not transferred to county until 6 months later. As much as I kept arguing with the mayor in Etna, with the township manager in Etna, and everything else, we were just getting nowhere. I got at the time one of our elected U.S. congressmen involved to try to get the transfer. And unfortunately, according to Allegheny and according to state police and according to FBI, they can't just take the case off the department. The department has to hand it over or ask for help. Um, in the meantime, I found out a lot of, I guess, terminology nowadays is shady stuff about the police department. As much as one of the main suspect's best friends is really good friends with the chief of police in Etna. I have all that in black and white. I even have the evidence that they're all linked and friends with each other on Facebook, on social media.
I wish I could say that's a shock, because it's not. It happens up here too.
Yeah. And I found out, like, with whenever there's parades down in Sharpsburg, the chief of police down there and everything else, and the township people would have Mano in the parade. I mean, I'm not law enforcement, but why would you want to be associated with somebody that has his type of conviction record?
And talk about his convictions, because my understanding, he didn't spend a lot of time in jail, right, for pretty severe things.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that confuses a lot of people. I think the longest he's ever stayed in jail was a few years. Because a lot of people are wondering, of course, they're speculating and saying, oh, is he an informant? Because somebody with all these type of convictions, how does he keep walking and getting probation?
And yeah, something's not right. And then be put in parades. I mean,
Yeah, correct.
so he just said that she took off. She didn't want to be bothered. That was his only story, huh?
Correct. And his story is he dropped her off later that morning to a friend named Marcus from Lawrenceville. Of course, this is a friend that he doesn't even have a last name. He just said Marcus from Lawrenceville. But of course, further investigation that Allegheny has done, there is no Marcus from Lawrenceville. But Mano, up until he was arrested, I'm pretty sure it was April 29th, on separate charges. Up until then, I'm sorry, I forget where I was headed with that one.
That's all right.
Oh, up until then, he stated that Kayleen's still alive and calls him private, which I call BS
Mm-hmm.
because everybody even knows there's a reward being offered.
And
And why would he not, if they were broken up and everything else, why wouldn't, and he knew that there is a reward, why wouldn't he just want to have $25,000?
right.
By the way, here's where Kayleen is.
So you had said he
That
was. Sorry, you said he was picked up in April for separate charges. Is that anything you can talk about? I know there's some legal issues going on with you involving that.
only talk about is what is basically already public out there. Mano was picked up on charges of sending my other daughter, which was a minor at the time, explicit pictures of him and Kaylene. Prior to sending them to my other daughter, he sent them to me. So
Did he put a message along with these images, or he just sent the images?
it was messages also, because it was actually back and forth stuff of arguing with him. And like whenever he sent them to me, he tried getting me to snap,
Mm-hmm.
which he did a pretty good job of it.
You did a hell of a job not to. I mean, I could not put myself in your shoes. I got to tell you.
I ended up getting Facebook jail, which who cares about that? 2 people told me where he was, and I'm admitting I went to go look for him at the time. I'm admitting
I don't blame
I
you.
didn't hide. I didn't hide the fact that I went to look for him, because I even took pictures and posted it because I didn't care. I'm a desperate father now.
What a sick bastard though to do that.
Yeah.
Not only is he the prime suspect, but sorry.
And like I said, and I went to the police about it, and unfortunately, since I'm not a minor, there wasn't anything they could do about it. So, but he really messed up whenever he sent it to my other daughter.
Now, how long after she went missing did this happen?
February, so about a year and a month.
Wow.
Year and a month is whenever he sent them to me. He sent them to me on February 2nd of 2021. So it was a year and a month. And Haley, it was about a month after he sent them to me, roughly. I'm not sure, since there's multiple different witnesses for this hearing coming up. Yeah, a lot of people will say, oh, she's my daughter, so we talk. Actually, we don't talk about the case because we don't want any type of mistrial. So I don't know the exact days that the pictures were sent to Haley and vice versa and everything else. Because like I said, with me also being a witness, it's not that we're going to be playing dumb. We don't know. We don't talk to each other about it and everything else and what have you. Because our focus on everything is getting Haley the justice that she deserves.
Absolutely. Now, I'm sure you've heard rumors over the last 2 years of things that may have happened to her. What are some things that you've heard?
I'm going to tell you the 2 main rumors, and I'm going to say these are actually rumors from officials. I'm not going to say elected officials. I'm not going to say police or what have you, but I will tell you that it is believed that Kaylene is either in the Allegheny County River or in a wooded area in Penn Hills, which would also be including at the cement factory. There's other rumors, of course. He had a camper in one of the townships where supposedly after he got questioned, he burned it down. There's also been, I mean, this is not rumored, this is fact. He does have campers, that he does travel a lot. But I will say that with the time frame and for where we all know where his phone pinged at 1:36 to where we know, and it's not public, where it pinged afterwards. We know the vicinity and everything else. Which also he used to do a lot of night fishing in the Allegheny County River. But like I said, in October, like mid-October, there were remains found, and it was on the news and everything else. For Kaylene's 2-year vigil, the news did say that it is believed not to be Kaylene's remains and everything else. But the remains are not identified.
So, have you done any searches on your own? And I know you started training some dogs too, right?
Yes, I have 4 dogs. 2 of them, one's already trained for air scent for Kaylene. I've been training another one of my dogs for also Kaylene and for tracking. I wanted to train all 4, but Baby Joker and Angel Marie, they're not going to be any type of tracking dogs. I do go on a lot of searches. I do go through social media. You can see I go from state to state. Not only do I put up also flyers of Kaylene in different states, I also help out other families while I'm at it. I've been in the process myself, and one of my best friends, he's actually Amish. We've been training. I got a horse, and my legs, I got neuropathy real bad. Mm-hmm. So my legs have been getting worse and worse. So I'm actually training the horse to be a riding horse and everything else. And all of this is not just going to be for Kaylene. It's also going to be to helping others with missing loved ones.
That's awesome.
And that's what I've been building myself in. Haley, my other daughter, she's an advocate with me. She's also going now to college, getting straight A's for forensic science. And yes, unfortunately, on what happened with Kaylene inspired her to do forensic science because she wants to help others. But on off season, my wife, she of course helps me, and we go all the time and what have you. But it's around that time she's always up at the farm though, and everything for plants and stuff. But in the meantime, I do go on a lot of searches. I will say that my dog and we did find some stuff in the fall time, late fall, beginning of winter. We did find some things and everything else. Because it's evidence, I'm not going to say it's Kaylene's or not Kaylene's. But there are also other missing persons in Allegheny County, and which there is Amy. She's been missing actually a week after Kaylene's from Braddock, and but those two cases have nothing with each other. They're not tied. A lot of people think, oh wow, a week apart, two females, everything else. They definitely are not connected in any way. But there were some things that myself and my dog did find that police were able to put into evidence.
And as terrible of a tragedy as this is that happened to Kaylene and your family, it's almost like giving her life meaning, what you've been able to do and become an advocate for the missing, and now your other daughter as well, going into forensics. Like, think of how many lives you guys are going to change.
I do it also to keep my mind busy. Just like my one psychiatrist says, there's no cure for what I'm going through. And I do a lot of that. And on my off time, I do crafts and stuff to try to keep my mind busy. I rescue animals and everything. People don't know me. I have 4 dogs, 3 cats, a duck, 2 sheep, and a horse. I rescue animals also and everything. And I always, of course, look at Kaylene's picture and I blame her. I said, because it keeps my mind busy. And like whenever I start thinking and everything else, I find something else to just keep my mind always occupied.
Mm-hmm. Some people at the beginning of the disappearance kind of questioned you, right? And what was your
Yes.
response to that?
Yeah, and actually, one of them actually is a missing persons group. We can bring you hope. The administrator from that group, Michelle Bender, she insisted I had something to do with Kaylene's disappearance. So I called up Allegheny County Homicide Detective Sergeant Dolphy, and I said, set me up for a lie detector. I left a message for him, and then we played phone tag. He sent me another message. He said, you're not a suspect. What's going on? Why are you asking for one? So I finally got back to him and I told him the situation. I said, because I'm getting sick of people going ahead blaming parents, this, that, what have you, especially in my situation. Uh, Somebody that I depended on be there for me. And so February 23rd of 2021, I took polygraph. Allegheny County Police came up here, got me and everything. I spent the day with them and everything. I got 3 polygraphs. It's all the same time, but they ask you the same 6 questions all 3 times. But they like change the questions up in order.
Mm-hmm.
They do it, and one of the questions really disturbed me whenever I went home. They didn't ask if I knew where Kaylene is. One of the questions is, do I know where Kaylene's body is? And it kind of course, disturbed me, especially being asked that question, especially on a missing persons case, because you want to have hope, which I'm admit myself, Kaylene's mother, my wife, and my daughter. I do want to admit that we, of course, know more about what's going on at the moment than anybody. Um, there's, it looks like I go public with a lot of stuff, but actually, there's a lot of things that I haven't gone publicly yet. Um, and I know parents would understand why, especially whenever you want justice for your child and
Mhm.
everything else. We hold right now knowledge that news nobody has, and we have to sit on it for right now and everything else. Um, which I will be honest, it's so hard,
Mhm.
especially being a parent. It's so hard. Um, I even just, I think yesterday made a post. I said that it's especially for me being quiet and not, because I don't sugarcoat nothing. I tell it how it is. I've personally called Mano a murderer. Um, I tell other people don't until, of course, charged and convicted. But I say, of course, me as a parent, I got nothing to lose, so I could care less.
He's
You
already
know,
taken everything.
but yeah, I do. Like I said, in the next months now, there will be a lot of things going viral publicly about this case that we've been sitting on for a while. Um, we don't even tell other family members. Like my sister don't even know. Um, uh, as far as I'm aware of, my ex's family doesn't even know, and everything else. A lot of people suspect, but they don't know what we know, but they suspect things. Um, and mostly what people suspect, I can't say is accurate and it's right. Um, but like I said, so there's no mistrials. We keep a lot of things to ourselves.
Right. Yeah, I don't blame you at all. It's got to be killing you inside.
And yes, I have polarized that. I did not say a mistrial. So I will say there's just stuff that's going to be coming up that we've been sitting on knowledge.
One more quick thing I want to talk to you about is you have a TikTok page for Kaylene, right?
Yes, and a lot of people been okay. My other daughter, Haley, that is the closest also to Kaylene. She knows everything that I was doing and the reason why I'm doing it.
Mhm.
One day I woke up and I said, every time I look on social media, I see funny memes and people share funny stuff where you beg people to share missing flatters and you hardly see them circulate. So I came up, I woke up one morning and said, because I seen like TikTok videos and what's it called, Instagram videos come across Facebook. And I made a TikTok page. And since then, I, yes, I do at times funny, stupid videos. But the reason why I do is because, like, one of the videos has over 1 million shares. And I'm only new to TikTok for what, 3 months now? And one of the videos, just one, I have about 75 videos, if not more. Just one of the videos has over 1 million shares. That's the reason why I do what I do.
Yeah.
A
So
lot of
basically, you're willing to almost make a joke of yourself to try to get your daughter's story out there, and like
correct.
within the
It's
videos, you have talk about her, right, or around like the border. We'll say
yes.
missing
At
Kaylene.
each video, I always have either, not either, I have a picture of Kaylene. I have my main website of, I have a flyer of Kaylene. Like some people would say in some of the videos, oh, we can't see the writing on it and everything else. And that's one of the points because what they can see is what I want them to see, and that's Kaylene's page. Because since I've had that, I've gotten also over 1,000 more followers on Kaylene's actual page.
Nice.
And I have a country singer on Facebook, Elena, that helps me spread the voice of Kaylene.
And you
I
broke up when you were
actually,
saying that. Who's the country
sorry
singer?
to hear. Her name's Elena. Um, she's out of, I believe so, it's Tennessee, and I'm friends with her on Facebook, and I went to her over a year ago because I make multiple flyers of Kaylene a day to keep my mind occupied. And I am actually an advocate of 7 cases. So I do flyers all the time. And I went to her one day and I asked her in a message, I said, can I please use one of your pictures? Not of her personally, but of scenery outside her window. And she said, yeah. And still to this day, now I'm friends with her husband, and I help uh, also spread the voice for her because she's a young star, upcoming, and everything else. And I feel as though that I need to help also her because she's helping me. On TikTok, I have a comedian that helps me out that has over, I think, 300,000 followers.
Wow.
He helps me out. So the reason why I do a lot of this stuff is to be a voice for Kaylene.
Well,
And
I think what you're
I'm,
doing is extremely admirable.
I'm never going to slow down and I'm not going to stop being who I am, no matter all the criticism I take at times.
You're fighting for justice for Kaylene, and I can't imagine how proud of you she is.
I'll never stop. I am sick, uh, medically and everything else. Uh, about 2 months ago, I sat down with my wife and we sat down with my 2 older daughters and everything else. And I don't care. And I don't want people ever feeling sorry for me because I look at it as I'm getting closer to being with Kayleen. Uh, of course, I do always hold on and still to this day hold 1% of hope and that some things are wrong and everything else. But as long as I'm breathing, I won't stop or slow down.
Yep. You're inspiration, sir. And I appreciate you joining us tonight.
I appreciate you having me so I could be a voice for Kayleen and other missing persons. And please, not just Kayleen, everybody just share for missing persons, their families. One of my main cases besides Kayleen is Devontae Morgan out of California, and I'm very close to his family now. He was actually my first case I advocate from, and his mom and I even have pages together now to help others for support, everything else, because we're parents living the nightmare, and we want others to know that there is help. There are people, unfortunately, going through what you're going through.
Yeah. What's the name of the Facebook page that you created for Kaylene?
Kaylene's main Facebook page is Missing Kaylene Oehling 2020. It is www.facebook.com/Missing Kaylene 2020 or hashtag Missing Kaylene 2020. My main page that is in honor of Kaylene is Help for the Missing. That's national. And of course, that was inspired by my missing daughter. But not only do I share continuously people's cases, I'm working on myself, and I have a team of about 13 other advocates across America. Megan, Star, Jen, Shane, Christina, and I just, we consider ourselves basically a team. I don't know if you ever saw like the TV show Scorpion, but even though we have our own groups, but I have a messenger group with all of us and everything else.
Great
Where,
idea.
and of course Terry, Devontae's mom, and everything, and Karina. I can just go on with the support that I have, and we don't just, of course, talk about the missing. We're just now family. We're not even just good friends. We're family, and we were there to help each other. Um, Most of them were advocating a lot longer than I have. So they have taken me under their wing, where I have, in the last few months, taken two other people, besides also Haley, under my wing and everything else, and Terry, Devontae's mom, and everything. And we just like how Shane always says, power in numbers.
Yeah,
That's how the strength is going to come.
absolutely. Jason, thank you so much for joining us. And, again, just what you're doing in honor of your daughter is amazing. And you're helping so many different families. I can only hope and pray that Kayleen comes home safe to you and you find out the truth and where she is.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I'm in the next few months, a lot of things are going to be coming out about this case, and just everybody stay tuned. And actually, I don't know if you're going to air this part, but I told you in the beginning, this is actually going to end up being my last podcast that I can actually do for a little while. It's my own decision, because I don't want to say anything stupid on two hearings that are coming up right around the corner. So I don't, for Kayleen's sake, I don't want there to be any type of mistrials.
Right.
Jason, Kayleen's father. I'm going to need everybody's help on this live. It's got to go everywhere, just like how the last live is going. Thank you, everybody. Myself, my daughters, we were cleared by police that we could go to where my daughter, Kaylene, has been found. We were told we could go there because everything's already done. We were told by police that, and we wanted to go there to make sure that we put flowers down for my daughter. And that is where they missed a marker that still said skull. Obviously, my daughter. Then I get from my oldest daughter, as we're laying roses down, I get from my oldest daughter, Michaela. She turns around, starts crying, Daddy. I said, what, sweetie? She said, am I stepping on my baby sister? Daddy, am I stepping on my baby sister? So yes, I called 911, everything else, but I need Facebook's help. I have an idea. Love, where's speakerphone? Love, where's speakerphone? Watch this. I have an idea on live. I need this video to go viral. We still justice for Kaylene. Kayleen's murder is still remain free. We need to push this. We need to push this. We need to push this. So I'm calling actually Sergeant Dolphy live. And I'm going to tell him. Sergeant Dolphy, this is Jason Oehling. I'm actually calling you live. I'm giving you a message on your office number, but I'm actually live, so this can go viral on Facebook. We all believe as though that place should be shut down, roped off. Why hasn't anything been excavated for weapons or more of my daughter? But most important, why has the suspect not been picked up? We understand that a warrant for death has not been established. But look how many cases, Amish Linda in the Commonwealth, look how many cases in the Commonwealth, the suspect can be picked up on different charges. Kidnapping, other charges. Well, you all still investigate the fucking murder of my daughter Kaylene. There's remains of my daughter scattered. What is taking so long? My daughter, this isn't obviously an accidental death. My daughter's scattered where us as a family are even still finding my daughter. The suspect can be picked up on other charges prior to the murder charges. Get shit done. Get cadaver dogs in here ASAP. This is live. And the last one that I went live is already over 55,000 views. I'm making sure this one goes also. Everybody owes my fucking daughter in the system of the shit show for more than 3 years. Get shit done now for my daughter. Hang that phone up. I need this to go everywhere on Facebook. Not for me, for Kaylene. Kaylene needs your help. God dang it. Goal was in the city of Pittsburgh.
55,000 views already.
Why did we find another one of my daughters? Boom! So my oldest and I and a family friend is actually at the scene where skull was found. Here's a question for you. This was, hey, Pittsburgh police in the city of Pittsburgh, if this was properly investigated, why did we find another one of my daughter's bones? And why did you guys even leave stuff? This is a bone. This is a bone, city of Pittsburgh. Why is this not taped off? Why isn't it dug up to see if there's any other remains? Why is this not dug up to see if there's a murder weapon?
Just
Anything.
like that time.
Another year without answers for the family of Kaylene Oehling of Etna.
Oehling went missing in 2020. Her remains were discovered 3 years later. And now her father tells Shelley Bortz that he can't rest until he gets justice for his daughter.
Kaylene Oehling's remains were found by hunters on this hillside here off of Washington Boulevard just 3 years after she went missing. Now a makeshift memorial with her picture hangs on this fence as a reminder of the young life gone too soon.
I visit my daughter on a hillside or in the cemetery while her murderer still walks free.
It's now been 5 long years, but Jason Oehling says he's not giving up. He vowed the day his then 20-year-old daughter Kaylene went missing, he would fight for justice until his last breath. Today, the case is no closer to being solved.
I feel hopeless, like I actually can't help my daughter, even though I try and push.
Kaylene vanished under suspicious circumstances on January 10th, 2020. She was supposed to babysit her younger siblings at her mom's house in Etna, but never showed up. Over the years, Oehling kept pressuring law enforcement, conducting his own searches, and holding vigils until his worst fears came true. Now, with no arrests, Oehling has turned to local politicians for help.
I will not stop until Kaylene gets the justice that she deserves.
In a statement to KDKA TV, county police say, "We have presented our findings in this case to the district attorney's office for review. It remains an open and active investigation." In an effort to keep the spotlight on Kaylene's case, Oehling started a nonprofit in her name and has made it his mission to help other families find missing children across the United States.
I feel so great being able to help other families where I couldn't help my own. Kaylene, Daddy loves and misses you, and I'll never stop fighting every day, every morning, every night.
We've reached out to the district attorney's office, but at this point, haven't heard back. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Shelley Bortz, KDKA TV News.
The 20-year-old woman from Etna who went missing back in January of last year. Her family, including her uncle Paul Young here, have no answers and fear the worst.
The whole thing's horrible for our whole family, most importantly, her parents and her siblings, because this is like a taunt.
According to police paperwork and Kaylene's family, Mano recently sent an explicit selfie of him with Kaylene to her 17-year-old sister over Facebook, a photo family members believe was taken before she vanished.
At first, he sent these pictures to Kaylene's father, and then he sent them to her sister. So, that wasn't the first time. Her sister's dealing with it the best that she can. Her and her sister were very close.
We visited Mano's Penn Hills address to see if anyone was there to respond. No one came to the door. Loved ones are trying to remain strong. What they really want is to know what happened to Kaylene.
No, we have no answers. Everything at this point is pretty much circumstantial. So we're just, trying to get all of our ducks in a row so we can hopefully bring her home at some point.
And regarding Kaylene's disappearance in the past, county police told me that they do have suspects, but they weren't identifying them. We'll keep you posted on any updates we receive.
Wow, that's the guy. This is the guy right here. I see why I had to do this. If this isn't Timmy's case all over, I don't know what is. We got to make noise.
Yeah,
What do you think?
we definitely do. I'm sorry that brought me back to Timmy's case all over
Yes,
again.
I know. That's what I said when I come across this. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me." This is exactly the same thing. Another parent begging. What if this was your child? I mean, oh my God. And this dad, amazing. Just like Barb. It's like, we have to make noise. We can't let this go away. And if we can't stand behind stuff like this, what are we here for?
I don't even have words. How are they gonna leave the remains for the family to step
To
over
step
there?
on.
And I mean, come on.
And then he's begging them. He has to call them live and stress, I'm live, I'm live. And that's for a reason, because they won't listen. They won't do anything unless he does this. That's sad. That is our justice system. That is what we have to serve and protect us. This?
Exactly. And then he can't even depend on the advocacy groups to protect him because they're accusing him initially.
And then they're prey. These families are preyed upon by these other they're scammers, they're people that do GoFundMe's, they prey upon them, and we have to stop this. We have to do something. We can't just stay silent. We have to back these families. I don't know what to do.
All we can do is what we're doing. We have to fight. We have to fight with these families. We have to share this out. And I encourage every one of you, the names, the numbers of everyone involved as far as these so-called investigative agencies have been dropped in chat. Reach out to them, leave posts on their Facebook because it's illegal for them to delete the comments off of their Facebook pages. So
Exactly.
you leave those comments and you tell them what you think. You tell them to get off their dead ass and make a fucking arrest in this case.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous. This man, where they found her remains, this is property owned by this guy's family. This guy has taunted them. He has sent pictures of her naked to her little sister. The fathers had to hear about this, the family. He's done nothing but make a mockery out of what he's done to this family's daughter. And yet he still walks free. Explain that. I have no words. I don't. Wow. Yeah. Molly, you'll have to go back from the beginning. There's so much to explain. You'll have to rewatch, but we have to be their voice. We have to share this. We have to not let this go. This is a priority. To me, this is above the little things. This is major to me. We have to make noise. We got to call, we got to email. We've got to let them know this family deserves justice, just like Barb, just like Timmy's legacy, just like Timmy D's and so many others. This one is so much like Timmy. It's unreal. Different state.
I'm sorry that I was screaming, but I mean,
Oh
it
no,
just
I
really
am
struck
too. No,
a
I get
nerve
it,
with
Artie.
me.
It's hard because we're close to Barb and we see her pain and then we see this again. How many more are out there? This doesn't stop with Barb. It
And
doesn't stop with Kaylene.
it's especially hard when you've talked to these families because I've talked with Jason before. I've talked with Barb's on numerous occasions. And I do want to have a panel where if we are able to, on one of our Saturday shows, where we can bring Jason on and tell the story and everything, and reach as many people as we can because this is absolutely uncalled for. I mean, it's
gut wrenching. It's I don't even, there's not even a word for it. I mean, it's, my God. And look at this guy. I got to get him off the screen. All I'm going to do is sit here and just, I can't. I've got to get him out of here. I just can't with that. Okay. Can't look at him. I just can't. I don't understand. What kind of power has this guy got? Who does he know? Who is he related to? Is he a rat? Is he an informant? Why is he getting away with everything? And what did this girl do that they don't want to give her justice? She's innocent of this. So what? She had a rough time. Maybe she struggled. Who doesn't? Who doesn't struggle? So what? We just forget about her? No, we don't. We make noise.
Well, they fucking dropped the ball to begin with because had this piece of shit served the time that he should have been serving for all the other prior crimes that he committed, Kaylene would still be at home with her daddy, and her daddy would have a relationship with both his daughter and his grandchild.
And I also, this isn't his first one, I guarantee it. Because if he got away with one, he'll get away with two. And if you get away with two, you go for three. So I'm not going to buy into that crap either. That this was not, this was just a random. No, it's not. If you can do this, then you've got more.
There was a realtor that got caught and did a lot of murders. His name escapes me right now. But when I heard about her being padlocked in a garage like that,
that's
he
exactly what
immediately
I
jumped to my head.
Yep. So this is not just the first one. And for this dad to stand as tall as he is and to help other families, just like Barb does, standing out there with signs of Durante and Doug Teal, and she's out there every day. If she has to stand alone, she still stands there. And she will stand there alone until the day she dies, until she gets justice. And if she doesn't get justice, she's not just going to give up because she's got us then. And now we've got another one. And we as a group will protect these families. I will. Arctic will. Somebody. We all have to. We all have to protect these families. This is unreal. This is awful. This is sad. This is America. And this is what we have. This is freedom. This is justice. I think not. I'm sorry. This could be our daughter. This could be our sons, our granddaughters, our grandsons. This is not just random. And how many more families are going through this that are standing there trying to anybody to hear them? Anybody. It's sad. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I'm sorry I didn't really greet everybody. This is just such a priority to me. It's what a fire under my rear end. We got to make noise. We got to make calls. We got to make emails. Please, if you are a creator, consider covering this, but do it right. You know, please, please. This is not a joke. This is not a game. This is life. This is a family. This is pain. This is heartache. We need justice. With that being said, thanks for joining us today. Arctic has a premiere coming up. Please meet me over there, but please share this out. Keep this family in your prayers. God knows they need it. Thank you, Arctic, for joining me today.
You don't ever need to thank me. I am honored to be here.
Thank you, Arctic. And I'll see you over at your premiere, and we'll get started with that. Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye, guys.
Does anyone understand? Does anyone lend a hand? When the silence starts to bite, will you join me in this fight? Can you see them in your dreams? Can you hear their desperate screams? A heartbeat lost in the night. Oh, will you help me be their voice? In the darkness, let's rejoice, 'cause together we can shine a light. We'll raise our hands, we'll raise our hearts. Let's make a stand, let's tear apart the chains